Why is that an issue? I want to ask you that as a black man.
Yes.
Why is that a problem for y'all to cleave, which means evolve, which means lose parts of you when you are in a relationship? Why is there so much resistance of I am who I am? I'm not changing. You met me like this.
Yeah. That's a lot. Because I feel like, because like you said, we are losing parts. If we lose parts of ourselves, am I still the same Shannon?
But why do you want to be the same Shannon, even if you're by yourself? So do you want to be the same 30-year-old Shannon you were?
No.
So then why do you want to be that on your number 2 with me, or your number 5 with me? Why is it that me being the woman you chose,
Yes.
I got to be of some good character?
Yeah.
So my good character hasn't influenced you in any way to want to...
It made me want to do right.
To do better.
Yeah.
To do right.
But can I say me?
I haven't watered any seeds in you.
Yeah, you have.
And so when those seeds are watered, right, and you start to grow, what about the pruning season within our relationship? So you just don't want to prune? Because if you don't want to prune, that means you don't want to grow. Because it takes pruning for growth.
Yes.
So explain to me. And even when we sow up the soil to plant new seeds, there's seeds down there that get sowed up, that end up dead. So at what point do we grow together? This is one of the biggest deficits and issues within our black community, of black and men being in relationship. At what point do we grow? If you're not willing to grow, Fig Tree, at what point? And then when God curses this marriage, head, because you covering me, because you refuse to be fruitful and multiply, Fig Tree, then what? I didn't do my job? Or was I too controlling? Or was I trying to be your mama? Or was it that you chose to sit up there with branches, unfruitful, not multiplying, because you didn't want to be pruned for us to grow? I'm just curious. I'm waiting to know the answer.
I wish I knew the answer.
And you look like you might be the only black man in this room besides the brother over there, and he's not in this interview with me.
No.
So why? You got to answer. You got to come up with some
Well,
answer.
Doc, if I knew that, I probably wouldn't be almost 60 and not married.
And I've heard you talk about how you are in relationships.
I am. I mean,
And you're
like you
very-
say, you got something non-negotiable, I got some
Right,
non-negotiable.
but you're very, and I don't say this to, poke you. I'm saying, wrapped in love. You're very stuck in who you are in relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And when I want my space, I want my space. And I don't need a shift or change. You can do what's conducive to me type thing.
Yeah.
And so that is the resistance. But you just said as a single man, you would not want to be the same 30-year-old you are now.
I don't, but I just...
So why do you want a woman to be with you while you the same person you were when I met you?
I'm working. I'm a work in progress. It's taking me longer than anticipated. I had to repeat a couple of grades.
Okay.
I think, to be honest, Doc, I don't know, I don't know, maybe like you say you had this vision of being married. I don't know if I really, really deep down inside thought about I was going to ever be married, because I was just, my whole focus was to get my family out of the environment that we was in.
Right.
And I didn't necessarily I thought I needed a wife in order to do that. So it was just work, focus. And I don't do a great job of multitasking. So I can't do my job and love this person like I love this job. That's the hardest part, because I've always put work first. Work has always come first. When I played, it was the most important thing. It was the only thing. You play second, or if you can't play second, just we ain't no sense in you getting in the car. And so it's so hard for me to turn that off, because I've done it for so long. And now that I have so many people counting on me, brother, sister, mom, kids, it's just hard for me. And the thing that I got, that's all you do is work. The only thing that you care about is work. And sometimes I think that is true, because I've gone on one vacation in 57 years.
But what are you overcompensating for? Because workaholics are overcompensating for something they're lacking. And oftentimes, work is transactional.
Yes.
It's not relational. It's transactional.
Yes.
Oftentimes, folks will overcompensate in transactional worlds for what they're lacking in relational worlds. And it's usually because of what you said. They don't know how to operate in the relational world.
No.
But they do well over here.
I do.
And we all go where we do what? Well,
yes, that's why I don't do a
well.
whole lot of things, but what I do, I'm very good at.
Yeah.
I don't take on new hobbies because I hate, well, how do you know if you're good at it? I know. And so what I'm good at, I become great at. I think.
But I want to know, when are you going to give yourself a chance to love and be loved? Because you don't have to enter into it being great already. You just have to enter into it with the willingness to shift and be malleable, not to the woman, but to the opportunity of you being loved and loving somebody back.
Yeah.
Which is really, the ultimate fulfillment. The reason why we have to keep working and keep working and keep working and turn into workaholics is because there is a monetary or a limited fulfillment over here.
Yeah.
So we have to keep to get it.
Yeah.
Like a drug.
Yeah.
To get it.
Yes.
But see, love is not like that.
It's not. I think, Doc, for me, growing up how I grew up and not having, it just drove me. And that was the thing that I really obsessed about, was to see my grandmother not have to worry about bills and not have to worry about things. And so I just poured everything. God gave me the ability to be disciplined, be dedicated, and be determined. And so for me—
Wait, but not to a woman.
No, because if there was a choice, Doc, if I had a choice between work or woman, I'm choosing work.
But that's because work is safe for you.
It is.
What is so unsafe with you emotionally with the woman?
I think for me, I haven't had the best luck with women.
Why?
But I haven't been the best for them.
That's okay. Talk about the luck. What is the narrative around you haven't had the best luck with women?
Because I've never given them all of me like I have a job. I only gave them what they couldn't hurt.
There you go. This is good. What is it that they could hurt? What's that?
Me.
What part of you?
My heart.
That was hurt when? When was the first heartbreak you can even think of?
I don't even.
Who was it by?
I'm not even sure, Doc. Because
Was it by Dad? Where's Dad?
My dad died when I was 13.
Was he with Mom?
No.
What kind of guy was he?
I only saw my dad once to really know who I was looking at.
There you go. There you go. So that abandonment, that abandonment wound. What is your narrative about your father? What kind of guy was he to only have seen him once?
Well, when he and my mom divorced, my grandfather, growing up how we grow up, get divorced, the kids are going with the maternal grandparents. And that's what we did. We came down to South Georgia.
But let me word it different then. What kind of father would you have to be to only see your child once in 13 years?
I think he was embarrassed.
About what?
Not being what he wanted what he thought he should have been. Not being there. My dad had some drinking issues, and he didn't think he was the father that he should have been. And I remember my grandmother, Grandma Charlie, his mom, told us that he wanted to come home. But at that point in time, he had both jawbones removed because of cancer. And he didn't want, Grandma Charlie, he called her Charlie. He said, Charlie, I don't want the kids to see me like this. And she said, Pete, they're going to love you regardless. They just want to see their dad. And he said, you know what? He said, you know what, Charlie, I'm going to come home in September.
Yeah.
Well, he died in August. And so, yeah, I would have loved, because when I played college ball and I played in the NFL and I saw guys have their dad in the locker room or standing on the sideline, I used to think, man, it'd be so cool to have my dad here and to be a part of this. But it didn't happen. But my grandfather died when I was 8, and that's who raised my grandmother and my grandfather. But Granny poured every ounce into me. But there are some things I think that I did miss because I didn't have. My brother was like my father. He was really the dominant male figure that was in my life. But that's, Doc, I mean, poverty, that's what kind of shaped me. And I joke when I say, man, we grew up so poor. I had to win the lottery just to be broke.
Right.
That's how bad we were, Doc.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me now. All I think about is like, okay, if something happens to me, what's going to happen to Libby? What's going to happen to Spanky? What's going to happen to my mom? My kids, well, they're going to be okay. They're going to get more money than, would they do right by, would they, and that's what keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
And I need to shift that.
Yep.
And say, okay, Shannon, if something were to happen to you, your family's going to be okay. Because I do want someone.
And I'm going to say something, okay? And I totally wrap it in love, okay? Because it's going to probably sound a little pokey, but the same selfishness you just described your father has, you have it. You have it. And the pain that his selfishness and his pride and his ego implemented in you is the same pain that you're implementing in everyone you come in contact with, including your girls and their mothers. What your father taught you was nobody, not even y'all, were good enough for him to come around or stay around. And nothing has been good enough for you to stay around. Not even your kids, because you obviously are not or were not with their mothers.
Right.
And it doesn't make you a bad man. It just makes you a man that needs to be aware of your makeup and how you're built. Because you can't change that. When we talked about it earlier, you can manage that once you realize, damn, I'm him too. So until you realize that ego, that pride that he has taught you, and it's obviously in your DNA as well, and that selfishness is what will always be a barrier between you and your heart, not you and a woman, it's you and your heart, then you will always overcompensate and work. And you're going to do damn good over here. But it's going to come a time, if it hasn't already, that what you're overcompensating for, which is the heart space, starts to consume you. And you're going to need that to even balance you over here. Because we can only do something out of moderation for so long before the moderation says, yo, what's up? Especially the matters of the heart. And with you, it's what I said earlier, right? Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And when a little boy becomes deferred from hope at a young age with his father, and they take on the father role like you did and go and get it and put the family on the mat and take everybody out of poverty, he usually never returns to find himself. And the only thing, or one of the biggest things that kind of breaks my heart with you is you've accomplished so much in everything you've touched transactionally. It has turned to gold, all the way down to the gold jacket. But like the fig tree, you still haven't found yourself. All the way at the age of 60. And finding yourself takes the heart.
The mind replays what the heart can't delete.
Hello. And so you have been operating from such a mind space so that you don't have to even have a connection with the heart, that it has put you in such a deficit of self. And that's what goes back to when I said a man who can procreate with multiple women without wanting to make sure that there is a foundational family there, he has a loss of self. And that man has an identity crisis. And there is a huge self-love deficit because a man who loves himself makes decisions that represent self-love. And everything that you have externalized is a direct reflection of you. The brokenness in the families you created, that's just the brokenness in you. How you can be successful transactionally, but your heart is over here, talking about, well, at what point am I going to get seen? And then what the little boy in you tells the heart is, didn't nobody want to see you when you was young. Wasn't nobody tripping off you then. So why do we think anybody is deserving, right? Or why do I think, as a little boy, that you're deserving of someone who would take your heart and really protect it and create a safe space? So it's easier for you to have transactional sex or have things that are convenient for you because that gives you control. And control is just insecurity, and security is just fear. And that's that little boy in you who is so afraid that if I can't touch and go with everything, I might end up touching, staying, and might get stuck in a place that I don't know how to navigate. Let me say this again, not in a place that isn't safe, not in a place that isn't loving, but in a place that The little boy in you does not know how to navigate. It's time for the grown man in you to grow the up and give yourself a chance to love, whatever that looks like, and to gain a sense of self of who you really are at your heart space. Because transactional life isn't really legacy. It just isn't. It's nice on paper.
Yeah.
But it's not legacy. The real wealth and the real legacy is what Dion has. And that's family. That's family. I'm not saying you don't have it with your girls. And I'm not saying it's too late to create it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is I would like to offer that at some point, you do start to say, let me just dive into my heart by myself. Even if you're still doing your transactional stuff with women or whatever, I'm not saying stop, you grown. But start to just get a sense of self of like who you are at the heart space. Because that's our heart is who we are. Our mind is something that we have to have dominion over to control. But our heart is something we can't control because it's the authenticity of who we really are.
Well, since you put it since that, what is it about good girls and bad guys?
What is it about good girls who like bad guys?
Yes.
You mean like the women who've been liking you?
I guess you could say that, Doc. Touche.
Trying to get crafty. I think that those women, again, are women who are overcompensating for that kind of fatherly bad guy who can come in and create a leadership that they believe leadership is. Mm-hmm. Usually those women are fatherless little girls who don't have a clue on what healthy leadership looks like. So they look at the bad guy who can puff his chest out and who can call shots or who can have some control over her as this is leadership because he's giving me some type of guidance, right. Some type of direction.
Yes.
A woman who has had a father knows how to decipher from a controlling man who's the bad guy and a man who knows how to lead her. And what happens is it's not that the woman with the father doesn't want a man who can run shit, because I like a man who will run shit.
For sure.
Who will tell me exactly where to go, how to go, and I'm even okay with saying how high when he say jump, when the leadership is right.
Right.
I'm quick to submit.
Okay.
Okay, daddy, no problem. But a man who is a bad guy with ill intent, because if you don't have good intent, you have ill intent. There is no lukewarm.
Okay.
That's it. So you're either deceiving me or you're allowing me a safe space where I can trust you. There's no in between. So the bad guy is in deception. And only a woman who wants to be led by a deceiver is a woman who is lost in herself. But a woman who is not lost in herself and has a sense of self and a sense of what a male healthy leader looks like my father led me.
Right.
Not to a ditch, but led me even when he had to crucify himself to lead me.
Right.
That is what a husband looks to me. A bad guy says, I'm not crucifying nothing over here. You'll be on the cross before me. And here, you can carry mines too, because that's what's conducive for me. That's a woman who is lost in the sauce. And she has daddy issues, and oftentimes she may even have parental issues. And that's also a woman who has to take a step back and take inventory on, where did I learn that this leadership is accurate leadership if I keep being led into the ditch? That means that all she's ever known is what? The ditch. And what did I say? We go to places where we're good at or where what we're familiar with. So if you want to know where you at, just understand that you are where you're familiar at. So my expectations of men are very high because my father created a very high familiar standard expectation. This is why I said a woman is what her daddy makes her, especially when it comes to men. My dad actually made the expectation too high. And then he had to tell me, like, baby, you're going to keep being the bridesmaid, not the bride, if you keep having these unrealistic expectations. And I'm looking like, well,
you're the one that set those expectations unrealistically.
And he had to explain to me, every man's not going to be daddy. He can be daddy to you in his own way.
Right.
It may not look like this.
Yes.
It doesn't mean he's not a good guy.
Right.
When it comes to you. So that's what it is. It's folks not understanding what healthy leadership is. Men do the same thing. Men will, pick women who run them, emasculate them, verbally abuse them, talk to them anyway, because for that man, that's all he knew, was that is how a woman leads.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because we like to do something before two something.